5. Partie dieser ersten Session der Happy Bad European Darts Trophy 2016. Und wir kommen zu einem Mann, der schon lange mit dabei ist, der zuletzt aber doch Schwierigkeiten hatte, sich gerade für die European Tour zu qualifizieren, ist ihm seit über einem Jahr jetzt zum ersten Mal gelungen. Einer, den alle kennen und der vor allem schon in seiner Laufbahn 6 Pro-Tour-Turniere gewinnen konnte. Die Rede ist vom Pieman Andy Smith.
No dessert till you clean off your plate, so eat it. Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it. Getting cold, so eat it.
Der Gegner von Andy Smith kommt aus Liverpool, ein großer Fan des FC Liverpool, hat in den letzten Jahren bei der BDO gespielt, stand unter anderem 2009 im Finale des World Masters, konnte 2014 vor 2 Jahren das Halbfinale der BDO-WM schaffen. Und jetzt ist er zum PDC zurückgekommen und natürlich gilt für einen Fan des FC Liverpool vor allem ein Satz: You'll never walk alone. Der Kong, Robbie Green!
Robbie Green making an entrance there. He's playing a man in Andy Smith who's been away 14 months from the European Tour stage. Robbie Green, about 5 days since his last appearance on the European Tour stage. Paul Nicholson will talk us through this one.
And yourself, of course, Chris. Welcome to this game, and the crowd definitely getting involved in that Liverpudlian anthem. We talked last week about how much the crowd got involved with it. Probably the only place on earth that wouldn't is probably Manchester. But that brings a smile to Robbie's face. Someone who has played very steady on the tour this year. Got himself into the match play for the 2nd time in his career. And definitely troubled the power at certain points. But someone who's played very well. Ran into the finalist Kim Hyrex last week, but someone who's playing very good darts.
Yeah, we'll talk more about these two players, but just a word on the last game. We've been informed that Cristo Reyes, we mentioned that he wasn't wearing his usual dart shirt. We've since found out that he wasn't using his usual darts either. Luggage not arrived, which seems to be becoming a bit of a common theme on some of these events for some of the players. Didn't affect Darren Webster last week, but taking nothing away from Josh Payne in his victory, coming back from 4-2 down. Reyes, yeah, his luggage didn't arrive, so no shirt and no darts.
Yeah, the luggage people have got something to answer to the last couple of weeks, what with Darren Webster's debacle, and obviously this week with Cristo. But my word, he did play well.
Andy to throw first. Game on.
He played all right, but it wasn't enough against Josh today. And sometimes that little bit of fortune where your opponent has not got his regular stuff is what you need to kick on, and Josh definitely took advantage of that.
Yeah, well, who will have enough here?
70.
Andy Smith. Excellent darting pedigree, but has fallen off the radar a little bit over recent years. He's won a handful of PDC titles, Andy Smith, but he's slipped down outside the top 50 in the world rankings now.
Yeah, I remember the last one that he won back in June of 2011. He won on the Sunday in Barnsley.
109!
Well, it's not taken him long to announce himself on the stage here. He enjoyed that, and Green looking to follow it up in kind.
140.
Not quite.
Not a bad reply at all from, I'd like to say the big man, but they're both big fellas. So, interestingly enough, Murph, before we started today, we went up there and did the usual checks on stage. We did have
85.
a somewhat creaky floorboard, and there have been instances in the past, well documented, with creaky floorboards, but the PDC and PDC Europe on the ball, getting it checked out.
100.
A couple of minutes of work at tightening one up. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there'll be no floorboard gate this weekend.
Seen plenty gates in the past. I don't know whether you saw it last week, but we had another Watergate scandal.
81. Robbie, you recall?
Do you remember Michael Van Geur when it was at Sydney where he dropped the glass? Well, Michael Smith overfilled his cup.
No score.
Wow.
Green's busted his score there.
And you require 85.
Well, we had some high-profile busts in Vienna earlier in the season. That was a big one. And Smithy is going to try and take advantage in the best possible way.
Game shot in the first leg, and he's
Well, look, it was irrelevant in the end
Robbie
because he was
to
looking to
throw
leave a
first.
double. He miscounted and bust, but Smith, 85 out in a couple of darts. Fantastic start on his return to this stage.
Yeah.
131.
Well, the adrenaline will be going through Andy's veins. He hasn't been on this stage for a little while. He'll be loving the fact that he's back. And sometimes you do need a break from big-time darts just to reevaluate what you're doing, make sure you're doing all the right
100.
stuff. And Andy's talent has never been in question. And get the pun bell ready because his hunger for the game has never diminished.
100.
But in Robbie Green, he's got a very, very good opponent at the moment. Someone who is on the European Tour so regularly that this is just another week for him.
125.
Yeah, Robbie Green done very well in qualifying for a lot of these events this year. We spoke about how difficult it is, how many good players there are in these qualifiers now, especially perhaps in the UK qualifiers
60.
when you've got most of the tour card holders in there.
What I like to do to evaluate the whole situation is just see who they've beaten to get through. And then we've got a whole
85.
different scenario with the European and home nation qualifiers coming in because the distance between the European guys coming into the tournament and the distance for the British-based and
100.
rest of the world qualifiers coming in is a lot longer. So I've asked many a person in the world of darts at the moment, is it fair that Andy Smith has had to wait over a month? Or it's even longer than that, it's nearly 2 months since he
81.
qualified to get into this event
Robbie
where
require
some of these guys
110.
like Martin Schindler, he did it last night. So sometimes it's not a fair reflection of form, but they've all got the same darts in their hand
78.
and they've all got the same format,
And
the
you
same
require
board.
110.
Well, these two had the same finish to attempt. 110, Robbie Green missed the double 16 to complete that combination. Andy Smith still needs a treble. Doesn't get one, so Green will return to level the score.
56.
Well, Robbie does like this
Robbie
corner of the board.
requires 32.
2 16s, and we got 1 all. Just above that one will be fine. Right
Game
there.
shot in the second leg, Robbie Green.
That's a steady 17 darter.
Third leg, Andy to throw first.
As a dart player, you're
Game
probably not expecting to win a leg on 17 darts, but if you do, you definitely take it.
No surprise after his walk-on that hit the red double and not the green one.
Good shout.
100.
Yeah, both guys had to play 2 games in qualifying. Andy Smith beating Ian Withers 6 games to 3. And taking out the seasoned Ronnie Baxter in his board final 6-2.
131.
Robbie taking out Nigel Hayden, who had a great run in Vienna. And what I think is very intriguing is that in his final qualifying game, he beat Diogo Portela, who featured on
85.
a darting game show last year and has tried his hand at some of the qualifiers this year. And I think he's doing some of the Challenge Tour as well. Someone who can definitely throw a dart.
They're Brazilian, isn't he?
I think he is Brazilian.
140.
So that's one of the reasons I mentioned before about the guys in Britain are not just British qualifiers. You've got people coming from around the world. Obviously, Simon Whitlock is taking part, Kyle Anderson from Australia, and then we've had a Brazilian there as well. So
81.
we have continental European qualifiers and home nation, which is Germany in this case, and then rest of the world is based in the UK.
But here we've got 2 Englishmen battling it out.
100.
Well, they've been around a bit.
Fantastic tie for a Friday afternoon session at this European Darts Trophy in Mulheim. Bit of a historic venue for PDC Darts, this one, because they've held the European Championship here before now.
Yeah, Simon Whitlock won it here, didn't he?
He did, and there'll be some
130.
happy memories for some
require
players.
130.
Will this be a happy memory for Robbie Green? He's having to think about it. He's got to go for the 20 here. He can't bank on Andy missing 105. Now he's going to go for the bull.
105.
Close but no cigar. And that gives Andy Smith a pop
105.
at this 105.
Well, you said he can't bank on him missing it. And you'd be right, because he's a third of the way there. And now just needs double 16 to complete the combination.
89.
Just inside.
Required
Ooh.
25.
Just off the plate. Now, Robbie Green will go 9 for that double 8 that he's already hit in this match. He's going to have to rely on a green double this time.
17.
And he didn't look like he fancied
and
that at all.
60.
Well, let's see if Smith can finish this off. An edge ahead again. Same target as Green's just missed. And he hits it.
In the third leg.
2-1 to the Pie Man.
Wolfgang Robbie to throw first.
2-1 to the
Game
Pie
on.
Man indeed. And I cast my mind back, you know, to when the PDC did Players' Championship events in Germany. And we've talked about the fact that Andy Smith has won a handful of Pro Tour events. Andy won a Players' Championship in Germany, so he has tasted success in Deutschland. And in that final, he beat Colin Lloyd.
140.
There was a point in that game that I will never forget. Colin sat on a double. Andy's got 96. He said a single 20, blocked the bed. He's on double 18, double top. And it was
100.
the single factor that changed that match, and Andy Smith came out on top.
Yeah, here with his sort of a tour mate, Terry Jenkins, come to support him today. Terry will be in action tomorrow against Zoran Lerchbacher.
140.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy game considering a 94 average for Zoran today. And I watched him play in Vienna earlier this year. I'm very impressed with the way he's thrown at the moment. I think he's a good player.
121.
Yeah, he's making small steps, isn't he?
He is. And talking to Dan Dawson in the back about Zoran's game, I don't think he goes to all of the qualifiers. So invariably, when he does go to the qualifiers, he does get through a lot of them.
190.
He enjoyed that one.
Yeah, he did. I'm not sure Robbie Green enjoyed it. But there's a bit of an Andrew Gilding thumbs up there.
Hang on a minute. Oh, that would have been some response from Robbie Green.
That would have been deadly.
On the wire of the double 13, but Smith will return. 41 required. 32 required.
He's going to get himself a gap if he hits this. He's hit that hole before. Will he hit double 8? Yes, he will.
A shot and a full flag. Andy Smith.
I know Andy's been through the mill a bit in the last year. He struggled with a bit
The
of form,
flag Andy
bit
to
of
throw
confidence.
first.
But I tell you what, he can
Game
take
on.
confidence from the way he's played in these first 4 legs. Very solid stuff from the Pie Man.
Yeah, ability's never been in question. But, as we said before, he kind of just gone off the radar for a while. Great to see him back. And we could be seeing him winning.
140.
Well, he definitely fancies it, doesn't he?
Yeah, we've already seen wins this afternoon for Zoran Lerchbacher, Vincent Kamphaus and Martin Schindler before Josh Payne defeated
100.
Christo Reyes. So a few of them games perhaps going the way that you wouldn't have fancied.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would have fancied Joe Mernon to take out Zoran of Austria. Ronnie Hybrechts would have gone into the game against Vincent as the favourite.
121.
Martin Schindler would have just edged the odds against Janos Vekshaw, and Josh Payne against Christo was a bit of a coin flip. And obviously in Josh's favour, he's played the better darts.
81.
But I think if it wasn't for a few missed doubles, Christo could have actually won that match.
Yeah, 16 players exiting the tournament today, and the 16 seeds replace them tomorrow. Michael van Gerwen heading that pack, and he'll play the winner of our next game.
100.
A game that I'm really looking forward to watching. We don't know a lot about Justin Webbers, but we know a lot about Keegan Brown.
$120.
Oh, he's a Robin Hood shot there.
And you
The
require
crowd thought it was a
140.
180, and if it was a 180, he would have been on exactly the same score as the Pie Man.
Yeah, not getting the rub of the green there.
100.
Well, that's a pretty tasty ton, because that could signal a 4-1 lead for the Pie Man. This, in my opinion, is going against the form book as well, because Robbie Green, for me, was a solid
80.
favourite here.
And you require 40.
Will the fact he's been to Germany for the 2nd time in a week be too much for Robbie Green? And
A
tops for
shot
the
and a
Pie
fifth
Man.
flag. Andy Smith.
4-1
Flag Robbie
to Andy
to
Smith.
throw first. Game on.
This is its clinical performance here from Andy Smith, averaging over 100.
I've said it time and time again. Sometimes
59.
players who go away from the circuit, they just need a little break from the pressure. And Andy Smith is proving that right now. The only question left to be asked about Andy Smith right now is, can he finish? Because he's got himself in a winning position.
95.
Will he be able to maintain this standard and get the job done and get it done fast?
Robbie Green's playing better than anyone else that's been on that stage today, apart from the guy that's playing against him.
How's your luck here?
But therein lies his problem. 1 out of 7 on the doubles.
And Andy Smith on 50%, that's the modern standard, really. That's where you want to be. 50 and above.
100.
Get a chance, 1 out of 2 darts. More often than not, if you've got 3 darts in your hand, all you want to do is just get rid of it in that visit. But there will be times when you've got ton plus
44.
checkouts and 2 darters, you need to get rid of them either with the first or second. And in this game, Andy Smith is definitely doing that.
Yeah, we've spoken about Andy Smith's pedigree, but Robbie Green is a
81.
player to a very high standard as well, a former World Masters finalist. Spent the majority of his career over in the BDO. We've seen him in the Grand Slam and things at times.
99.
But he's been doing well since switching to the PDC.
Yeah, it's taken him a while to really get going. This season he's been a lot better than last. I think, you know, getting used to the schedules and the venues, and even the fact that, you know, playing from 12 o'clock in the afternoon is a change from BDO darts, because they tend to start at 9:30.
86.
So you can have a little bit extra sleep in the morning. And you've just got to peak for a different time of day, and that does take some getting used to.
140.
There's never been a doubt about Robbie
And
Green's
you
ability.
139.
And that World Masters that you mentioned, he probably should have won that.
Well, he'll get a shot of the 100.
Well, he's going to have to take it, because Andy Smith is going to be sitting on
99.
tops if he
Robbie, you
doesn't.
require 100.
Interesting thing for him here is, oh boy, that is the one shot he couldn't afford. And now
68.
he might find himself coming back to the
And
off
you
and having to
require
win
40.
every leg that's left in this match. Doesn't seem to be a lot of energy coming from Robbie today.
Well, Smith's been 1 out of 2 on the doubles, so there's a missed one. And there's a hit one.
Shot in the 6th flag. Andy Smith.
Well, he maintains that 50% one perfectly, but
7th flag. Andy to throw first.
yeah, Andy looks pretty
Game on.
focused, in control. Robbie maybe just a little tired, a little up against it today, and he knows what he's got to do. He's got to win every leg. And Andy Smith does not look like he wants to give him an
100.
inch.
Well, it started with Robbie Green busting that 1-2-1 in the very first leg, and Smith showed what sort of mood he was in, clinically taking out 85, and he's just not looked back since then.
Yeah, I think the game is a story of 2 darts for
85.
Robbie Green, missing the double 13 for the 146. That could have been a huge turning point for him, and that 1-2-1 bust was absolutely massive. I mean, we need to try and forget those types of things when they happen, but it's really hard to.
140.
Especially when your opponent is really battering that 60.
Yeah, and it's best of 11. I mean, the first leg, well, you'll know better than I will, but it can completely change your mindset,
80.
can't it? He's had a bad first leg, miscounting and doing that, and Smith must feel good. First dart, a double straight in.
Yeah, it's the ripple effect. Drop the stone in, you don't know how big the ripples are going to be until you see them. And then, you know, he's had a pretty big ripple in that
80.
121 bust. I think with Robbie's experience, I'm sure it hasn't affected him too much. But maybe in his mind at the moment, he just thinks that it's not happening today for him.
58.
Well, Andy Smith is a handful of darts away from reaching the second round, and a clash with Peter Wright. You'll be happy to see a treble here.
60.
No, it's not the end of the world, because Robbie Green needs a maximum to put the pressure on.
92.
That's not bad, but 6 darts now.
And you require
1-2-1.
121.
If you'd have given this position before the match started, he would have said, yes, please. And will it be 1-2-1 without busting for Andy Smith?
But it might be done in 3 darts.
Well, don't bust it.
Well,
Do you see that little giggle in the background from Robbie Green, as if to say, I did that as well?
Exactly the equation that Robbie Green was like. He wasn't far
130.
away from 19 there.
Well, fortunate enough for Andy Smith, he has left double 4, and it's looking very likely that this is the end of the game.
58. And you require
So the Pie
8.
Man put himself in the next round to play Snakebite.
A winning return for Andy
And
Smith
the
on the
match,
European
Andy
Tour.
Smith.
Fabulous performance. Average around 100, a 6-1 demolition of Robbie Green. And the Pie Man will take on Peter Wright in the second round tomorrow. Keegan Brown against Justin Fevers up next. We'll hear from the Pie Man in a moment. But Robbie Green exits the Mulheim stage. Andy Smith progresses.
Der Pieman setzt sich doch überraschend glatt durch mit 6:1 gegen den Kong, gegen Robbie Green. Andy, congratulations. Good to see you back on that stage. I just said it when you had to walk on. It's a year ago. You played your last tournament.
I'll be honest with you, I miss my little buddy Terry. I've been coming away and sharing a room with Terry, and I haven't been away for a long time. And I've dropped down the rankings. Basically, everything's changed, and it's hard to get, to get where I am. But I'm still playing well, and I'm back. Thank you.
Andy, and the quality of the match was quite high, almost 100, average of 100. And perhaps you need this quality. Peter Wright is waiting.
Oh, I know Robbie's played really well lately. I mean, he didn't play so well against me tonight. I mean, he probably relaxed a little bit, thinking that he's got me. But I've watched him play against Taylor. I've watched him play the last few tournaments. He's a class player. Robbie's a really good player. So I knew I was up for the game. I knew I'd have to hit like 100 a shot or as much as I can and finish. And that's what I did. And I didn't want to let him back into the game. And I know I've got up my game for Mr. Wright. So hopefully I'll have another good game tomorrow. Thank you.
Der Pieman Andy Smith. Wir sehen ihn morgen wieder. Er sagt, er ist ein ganz enger Freund von Terry Jenkins, mit dem teilt er sich die Zimmer eigentlich regelmäßig. Jetzt hat es eine längere Zeit nicht geklappt. Der ist im Ranking ein bisschen runtergesackt. Tut sich schwer. Die Tour ist hart, sagt er. Die Konkurrenz ist groß. Gerade viele junge Spieler, die nachkommen und die Sache nicht einfacher machen. Er ist also zurück hier auf so einer großen Bühne bei der European Tour. Und morgen spielt er gegen Peter Wright. Und er wird ein ähnliches Niveau zeigen müssen, um Snakebite zu bezwingen. Gratulation dem Pieman Andy Smith. Und damit kommen wir gleich zum nächsten Deutschen. Ihm müssen wir wirklich die Daumen drücken. Ein Debüt für ihn auf so einer großen Bühne.